Today I want to talk about newsletters. Why newsletters? If you've been paying attention the last 6 months or so, newsletters are having their heyday. Tons of people are signing up for their own Substack accounts, debating whether or not the loss of SEO or domain authority is important, and competitors like Review and Ghost and Medium are all vying for new people to start writing and publishing to their audiences. But why? I've probably asked myself this question dozens of times over the years. I've been writing emails or newsletters for over a decade, sometimes consistently, other times, more infrequently. So I wanted to answer the question for myself. Why newsletters? For me, it's because it's one of the most direct ways to reach people who have given me permission to serve them through my writing. I can send a thought or a lesson or an insight with a few clicks of a button and land in the inboxes of over 1,000 people. That statement in and of itself is kind of crazy. It's different than social media. Twitter and Facebook and Instagram to me feel more like shouting into a void. It's more performative. There's no engagement, there's no feedback, there's no sense, for me at least, that any of it's landing. Yet, with every email that I send, I get responses from real people that I've known for years, thanking me, sharing their thoughts, and giving me feedback. So that's my answer. I write for two reasons. One, to synthesize and figure out what I actually think about a subject. And two, to share something I feel is valuable or important with the people who have told me it's okay to share those things with them. For me, it's a way to contribute, even in some small way, to the lives of others. The reason I chose newsletters, also known as emails, or honestly, things like podcasts or videos like this, the reason why I love newsletters so much, more than social media, is because I can see that they're actually valuable to those who are receiving those emails. I don't know that I get that, at least not as often, from my posts and pictures on social. The reason you do anything is important to understand before you start doing that thing. Why are you starting that company? Why do you want to make a movie? Why do you need $1 million? Why do you make what you make? If you don't know, it's important to take time to figure it out, because as soon as you discover your reasons, then the way you approach the work changes. All of a sudden, it now has a purpose, a mission, and you will feel pulled to do the work instead of having to feel like you're pushing against an obstacle all the time. With that in mind, I have 2 newsletters that I've decided to start publishing on a more frequent basis. You don't have to do anything to get them. That was for the email subscribers. In order to get them, you can go and click on the links either in the show notes or on this video. And, if you don't want to receive them, that's okay too. I'm going to be publishing them each week I'll be publishing one of them each week to this podcast feed and to my YouTube channel. My hope is that these insights, these weekly updates, these newsletters are valuable enough that you want to subscribe to them. Once per week, I'll be publishing a newsletter called First Principles, where I take the things that I'm learning and reading about business, economics, finance, investing, and money as I'm building 2 new companies this year, and I'll drill down on the important underlying principles. And then I'll explain those and put it into a context that makes more sense for creatives and artists. So much is out there that's on the topic. Sorry, let me do that again. So much that is out there on the topic is insanely important, but it's not written for us. My hope is to make and help people understand what's going on and how it affects them. The second newsletter is the one that you're listening to or watching right now. It's called BCC. Now, BCC in email stands for Blind Carbon Copy. It's a way to include someone in an email without revealing that email address to anyone else that's on the email. I kind of like the idea of secrecy, or that you're peeking in on something without others knowing. So I'm keeping that idea, but I'm changing the acronym. BCC in this case stands for Building Craftsman Creative, or even Becoming a Craftsman Creative. It's a newsletter about building my own companies and myself. It's a behind-the-scenes look at what I'm learning, what I'm trying, and what I'm doing to build 2 successful businesses over the next few years. Both were started this summer in the worst economy I've ever experienced. The hope with this newsletter is to help other creatives and artists make a living doing what they love. Simple as that. So, if you want to sign up for the newsletters, the links are below or in the show notes, or you can go to newsletter.craftsmancreative.co to get the First Principles newsletter, or bcc.craftsmancreative.co to get this newsletter, Building Craftsman Creative. Thanks for being on the ride with me. It often feels like we're companions on the path, and that's pretty exciting. See you next week.